Let's get into the papers now, see what the headlines are across Nigeria this morning. And I have with me in the studio a social commentator, Smart Akpejoye. Smart, good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Mike.
Great.
Good to see you.
Very good. And I have one of our regulars as well, Funke Cheshire. Good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Done. You're welcome.
Good to be back after the break.
Yeah, after that, exactly.
Did you have a break, though?
Well, the point there is when I'm not, on camera, I'm behind the camera somewhere, so I'm walking around the camera somehow.
You didn't have a break.
So there was no break. Yeah. All right, let's start from Daily Times. That's where we'll start from. Gunmen attack Imo State Police Headquarters, Correctional Center. This has been making a lot and lots of debate and comments across the nation. Daily Times, gunmen attack Imo State Police Headquarters, Correctional Center. That's the Daily Times. All right, let's go to Blueprint that says tension in Southeast as terrorists attack Imo Correctional Center. Blueprint. The Blueprint newspaper says tension in Southeast as terrorists attack Imo Correctional Center. Okay, and that's a Blueprint. The Daily Sun is next now. It says banditry, kidnapping, federal government under pressure to name sponsors. Ohaneze, Middle Belt Forum, Arewa Youths, others challenge presidency to prosecute those involved if it knows them. All right, that's a Daily Sun. From there, let's go to News Direct. News Direct is on Imo attacks, IPOB or IPOB, IGP trade words at Buhari orders arrest of perpetrators. Okay, IPOB, IGP rather, trade words as Buhari orders arrest of perpetrators. That's on News Direct. The Punch newspaper is next, and it says federal government sounds tough. IG fingers IPOB as gunmen free 1,844 Imo inmates. Buhari calls attackers terrorists, demands arrests and persecution of masterminds. Ohaneze expresses worry over rising attacks. Ikpeazu declares curfew in Abia. Jesus Christ has risen. You have no reason to be here again. Gunmen tell inmates. So funny. All right, but that's what you see on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Okay, from there, let's go to the Nation newspaper. Nation says night of horror in Owerri. 38 vehicles destroyed, 1,844 inmates freed in attacks on police headquarters, prison. And it's terrorism, says Buhari. IG IPOB did it. Separatist group denies involvement. Abia imposes curfew. And inside, all right, timeline on attacks in the southeast. You see the breakdown of the times and when it and where it happened. That's the Nation newspaper. Now let's go to Daily Trust. Imo attacks, IPOB building armory to actualize Biafra. Ex-AIG is saying this. It's sign of state failure, says Falano. End anarchy now, Buhari is saying. Southeast states, police commands ignore intels. And IPOB kicks as Nnamdi Kanu hails onslaught. Okay, that's a Daily Trust. Of course, we'll be looking at this as we open discussion shortly. Vanguard newspaper is next. Vanguard newspaper says mayhem in Owerri. Armed men burn prison, free 1,844 inmates, bomb police headquarters. And police command headquarters, vehicles set ablaze. They threw explosives at us. Police is saying this. A police officer is saying this. Say gunmen were over 100. Okay, and some other writers there. That's the Vanguard newspaper. And the last one now is Business Day that says 612 microfinance banks may close shop over recapitalization. 612 microfinance banks may close shop over recapitalization. All right, that's Business Day. Okay, gentlemen of the press, let's talk about what's on the papers this morning. Most of all of the stories here are coming from Imo State, where the gunmen attacked police headquarters as well as the correctional center. Okay, I like the comic way that I think Punch newspaper,
the
Jesus
one that
Christ
says
has
risen.
You have no reason to be here again. Gunmen tell inmates. Well, whether they said so or these are just reports one way or the other. But let's get into Smart. Let me start with you here. This is not the first time that there is attack on police stations or security agencies, especially in the southeast. What are you making of what is going on?
Well, it is so sad again that we have to discuss insecurity in the nation. So many years ago, we discussed, when Yar'Adua was the president, there was this attack in one of these correction centers in the north. And President Yar'Adua said, okay, you must go and you must get to these people. That was when Boko Haram was coming up gradually. They went in and the military and the police wreaked so much destruction on the Boko Haram guys and whatever. In the course, Yusuf was arrested, handed over to the police, and he was killed while he was in police detention. And before you know it today, that is the Boko Haram we are having today. And I said, we cannot handle this people the way we are handling it. If not, it will cascade into all the state of the federation. Right now, what we are saying, we are beginning to use the same approach we use for the Boko Haram now for these IPOP guys. First, I am against dialoguing with anybody that is displaying criminality. This have nothing to do with either you are asking for agitation. There are ways that the law have prescribed that we should go about our agitations. The moment you start taking laws into your hand and you now want the government to come and dialogue with you, it is wrong. I am never in support of dialogue. But again, you see, there are ways of tackling issues. If we don't take time now, this issue of the Eastern Security Network will go worse than the Boko Haram we are seeing. You realize that in the past 10, 15 years, chunk of our budgets that are supposed to be used for developmental purposes are being channeled towards fighting terrorism, banditries, and criminality, which has affected all other areas like education. We have never had it this bad that over 10 million youths or children will be out of school. We've never had it this bad that virtually every state you go to today now, there are what we call IDP camps. We must be careful at this junction. The government has to sit back. First, what is the problem of these people? I tell you, you see, if you fail to take an issue from the scratch, by the time it snowballs, you will not be able to curtail it.
Okay.
The major aspect of this has to do with lack of employment, frustration, lack of the fact that people does not have confidence again in the system. And again, it sends a bad signal. If the police command can be attacked, that means the governor's office, that is the governor's lodge, is not safe.
Okay. All right. Now, Funke, this issue calls for great concern. And from the reports we got, people, residents of Imo State who are not state actors are living in some level of fear here and there.
Expectedly.
Exactly. Because they're saying if the police, anyone who has the guts and the courage to attack a police headquarters and attack, the correctional centers, then who are we, defenseless people?
I recall a day when that was happening. A friend of mine whose family lived near the correctional center wrote on Facebook and was saying that she'd not been able to sleep. She's here in Lagos. She's been talking with her family at Owerri. Well, the point is, for me, this is a failure of intelligence. We have intelligence agencies being paid for by our money, our tax money. We've seen consistent failure of security and a mishandling of, a mismanagement of our security in Nigeria. And if we had hope that there will be some sort of redemption, it's not looking like it's going to happen soon. For a police headquarters to have been so attacked, it tells a lot about how we handle issues of intelligence. For a correctional center to be so boldly attacked, it tells a lot about what our police force itself is doing, and the what are they called, the DMI of this world, of Nigeria and the rest of them. We cannot fold our hands as citizens and watch. Of course, we're all afraid. It made international news. The first thing I heard on the BBC World Service this morning at 6 was, let's go to Nigeria, where this is happening. So it's just a bad way to trend overseas, and we just must do. Over the weekend, we saw the development whereby Sheikh Gumi went to Ota to see the former president and what they came out with and all of that. Well, it's good that they're trying their own, they're using their clouds to look for solutions to this. But we want to know what the intelligence agencies in Nigeria has to tell us what exactly they're doing.
They will say some of these things are not things to discuss on the front
but they
pages
should. The reason why we have intelligence is for you to know ahead, to have gathered information ahead, and to have alerted whether the executive governor or the police force or the armed forces that this is going to happen, and then you take proactive measures to prevent it from happening. So if this is consistently happening, it means that our intelligence is compromised. That's just that's the truth. It's heavily compromised. Maybe it's about time to start looking at that area and change the people there, because we cannot leave the service chiefs alone to do this. We also must look at the feeders, the entire gamut of our security network in Nigeria, and do something, change them, because it definitely means there's compromise.
All right, now, Smart, the IG of police has come out to say that they suspect, or in fact, he categorically said in a statement that the IPOB and the Eastern Security Network were behind these attacks, and they're talking about the call for arrests, and all of that.
Well, you see, if you watch the trend so far in the past few weeks, it is easily that you don't even need the IG to say it is the IPOB or the Eastern Security Network, because they've been very, very aggressive of late. But however, in their aggressiveness, we must take something. You see, you must take it from the scratch. What happened? What went wrong? How do we solve this? Because going to arrest them, again, you cannot arrest all of them at the same time. Some people will go on the ground and they will start attacking. What we must look at again is that we must sit these people down. You see, they are agitating for what? What is their bone of contention? The Eastern Security Network, they are saying, look, we cannot sit down and our brothers in Ebonyi, or our sisters, our family in Ebonyi will be attacked, and all the governor will just come and say is that he's sorry. What the vice president will say is that, well, he commiserates with those people. No, that we cannot. That it's like we want to defend ourselves. We must begin to look at what are the fundamentals of insecurity, not only in the East now. What are the fundamentals of insecurity of late? The Sunday Igboho issue is still there, still trending there. And if care is not taken again, we will handle it the way we have handled the issue of Yusuf in the north.
Right.
We must begin to look at it. Is that, you see, I believe is that when there is a problem, you sit back and look at it. What is the foundation of this problem? Let us tackle it from the foundation. Tackling this thing from the foundation is that, first, majority of what we've had now have to do with this nomadic way of rearing cattle. Let us begin to look at it. Is
that the challenge in the East?
Of course, it's part of it. We should begin to look at it again. Is that they are saying, no, Fulani cannot do this, Esme cannot do this. Let us begin to look at it. Are we tackling the issue? Are we even using? Are we properly handling the issue of cattle rearing? I am a farmer. Also, I do farming again. I tell you is that there are so many advantages even in cattle rearing that you will get if you have a ranch than this nomadic way of cattle rearing. It is never good for those people rearing the cattle. It is not even good for the cattle itself. So let us begin to look at it. Let us begin to do things that, let us correct the evil of yesteryears. Now we'll begin to do that gradually. If we do that again, we will reduce the issue of unemployment, because we have a large army of unemployed youths that are willing to say, look, if I am home, I'm hungry. I could die of hunger. If I'm outside there, look, I will get good. They will give me money. They will give me hams. And if I do well, I could save. Or if not, I could also
travel because the government would just...
Yes. So again,
forgive my sins.
Yes,
people begin to look at it and say, look, why don't I go and join this? And that was what Tinubu was saying, that let us reduce the willing hands in the hand of this
recruiters of banditry. Yeah.
That is what he was saying. Forget the figures he brandished that was quoted out of context, or that was a mistake.
Well,
however, the simple truth is
corrected.
that let us reduce unemployment. And it isn't the unemployment again. We'll come back to the CBN.
Okay.
Let me quickly weigh in on that. I think at this juncture, IPOB has said that they had no involvement in what happened in Owerri. Okay, but this is what keeps recurring in my mind, and I just put it out there. The federal government must learn not to suppress the yearnings of the people. If the people are telling you this is what we want you to listen to, then listen to the people. The federal government must learn to elevate the office of the citizen, because you're there for the citizens. The citizens are telling you, do this for us, look at this for us. Don't shut them up. The hashtag NSAS is still there. The issue of the policemen is recurring. So people are consistently attacking policemen and police establishments and police facilities. So this is about time for the federal government to go back to the NSAS, hashtag NSAS issues that were raised.
The agitations.
Look at the agitations, thank you. Look at this again and begin to address. You cannot afford to shun the people, suppress people's yearnings and desires. This is what's going to happen. They're going to, now start defying you and challenging your authorities in different ways, and you can't keep up with them because they're just going to be, it's like some sort of guerrilla warfare. They're just showing up here and then they show up there and then they show up there. Now,
let me stay with you, Funke, on this issue. Now, whatever happens in the country, everyone runs to the federal government, everyone complains to the federal government, everyone expects the federal government to do this and do that and do... Attention is shifted totally from what the state governments can do and governments that are closer to the people. Do you think in all of this, he talked about the issue of unemployment,
yeah.
What are the government at state level and all of that doing? Are they doing enough from your assessment?
Well, I think they're trying their best. They can do better. They failed. Some of them have failed in properly manning their states and securing their states. So people are beginning to say, do they even have the capabilities or the capacity to administer a state? Perhaps because, again, we've seen a downward spiral of management and governance in Nigeria. So we have people there who have focused more on politics more than governance. So the bottom line is our governors, our state governors must return to the business of governance and let the people repose confidence in them.
Okay. Confidence and trust. We have to leave you here now. Thank you very much, Funke Treasurer, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for coming, Smart Okpejoye. Thank you very much. Very good.